on a live television show in Canada, one of my first shows. We were firing guns at each other. I'll kill you, yes you will, boom, boom. Well, you don't fire real bullets, obviously. You fire blanks with a wax wad. Wad? Wad. Okay. Garage? Garage, okay. So they pack a wax wad. Or is that a... So they fired, that would, you know, this thing would explode and it made a sound, and you continued on. So I'm doing something, and this guy fires at me, and I fire at him. And I watch the wax wad hit him just below the eye. And a blood blister. Do you know what a blood blister is? Do you know what a blood blister is? It's a big lump of blood held together with skin appeared in his eye. And we were like 10 minutes into an hour show. I mean, you want to go, whoa, and continue on. And then you have to think of the next word. Basil Rathbone. Basil Rathbone, Sherlock Holmes. No? Basil Rathbone came up to do Billy Budd, and I played Billy Budd. And Basil Rathbone was the captain of the vessel. And he comes on, it's Basil Rathbone, my God, Basil Rathbone, Sherlock Holmes, and all the legendary films and theater things. He was at like the turn of the century leading man in England. Basil Rathbone's coming to town. God, we've got to be good. We're only small little Canadians. We've got to do this thing. Basil Rathbone comes in, and we rehearse, and now he's coming, and he comes on stage, and he steps into a bucket. He's got a bucket on his foot. And earlier he had said to me, Bill, he said, well, thank God we're up here in England, in Canada. Because if we were in America, 30, 40, 50 million people are watching. Thank God only 10 million people are watching us here. Yeah. I mean, it was unbelievable. So now he's got this bucket on his foot. He's like, I tell you, I'm gonna hang you from the. And he went up. He couldn't talk anymore. It was fraught with danger, live television.
Well, you turned down several leading roles in Defender, Dr. Kildare. Why did you decide you want to play that classic hero in Star Trek?
You know, I did, that's the truth. I didn't. I'll tell you why. Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen did it. When I'd come to New York and was playing on Broadway and doing these films and television things, a series was kind of looked down on. It was something you might do if you couldn't do anything else. And everybody else, we were all sort of vying to play the leading roles in whatever it was we were doing. And then Steve McQueen, who was in The Rifleman, if I remember correctly, made the jump. No, what was it? Chuck Connors. So what was Steve McQueen in? No at all?
When It Dead.
What was he in?
When It Dead. Right.
Same show.
Right?
Wanted, Dead, or Alive. Okay. So Steve McQueen was in Wanted, Dead, or Alive. And I knew that. And somehow, something about the magic of Steve McQueen leapt from the television screen into the theater screen. And suddenly, it was not only all right, it was almost a necessity to get a series in order to get those roles that we all wanted. So he led the way, and during that time I had the vanity to turn things down. And then when he showed the people who cast that there is the popularity of the television show can follow you. People. That was why one thing led to another.
Recently, you seem to have taken to a good deal of self-parody, and I'm wondering...
No, that's real, actually.
I'm wondering how you feel when other shows do impressions of some of the roles that you've played, and if it bothers you, if it doesn't bother you?
I don't know what they're doing. I see this guy going, "Hey, Bill, again, this is..." What are they doing? What's the name of that comic who does me a lot? Kevin Pollak. So I've forgotten who, but somebody wanted me to direct a comedy, a half-hour comedy, and they said we can get so-and-so, or we can get Kevin Pollak. I said, let's get Kevin Pollak. He's great. He had just come off of Seven, no, that wonderful movie that he was so wonderful in. The Usual Suspects. He just come off of Usual Suspects. Get Kevin Pollak, and we just set up a lunch. So they set up a lunch, and I go to meet Kevin Pollak. Now, Kevin is a little apprehensive about meeting me. So we started talking, and I said to him during the course of the conversation, "I hear you do me." He says, "Yeah, I do." I said, "Do me." So he goes, "Jim, you gotta go." He does this thing. Where you go? I said, "Kevin, that's not me." I don't go, "Jim, Kevin." He says, "Yes, you do." I said, "No, I don't." And I found myself arguing with Kevin Pollak as to who I am. Out from this dressing room comes this earthy man with white hair. It's Spencer Tracy. Oh my God, Spencer Tracy. I saw him in Adam's Rib, and I kind of says, "Wow, there he is." And he just came, he came out like Guthrie did down the stairs. Came out, and I'm looking at Spencer Tracy. And Spencer Tracy, now they roll the camera. "All right, ready? Spence, you ready? Spence is ready. Spence, everybody, Spence is ready. Okay, roll the cameras. You got 10 cameras. Spence is ready. Okay, Spence, and action." And Spence starts to deliver this peroration that goes on for 10 minutes. "All right, cut. Oh, wow, Spence, that's great." Now, I'm this callow theater actor, and I'm looking at Spencer Tracy, and I thought, movie actors do 2-3 lines and cut, and what's my next 2-3 lines, This guy had done a stage performance, a stage-worthy performance of these words, and when you do even one line, let alone a 10-minute speech, you're kind of working it out, and then there's somebody you don't know who you're saying it to. So it takes time. There's a camera there, and the water's not right. It doesn't taste good. The director says, wait a minute, the light. So even one line, "How are you?" "I'm sorry, could we do that again?" How are you? No, I'm so sorry. Could we do that line one more time? Every screen actor does it. This Spencer Tracy did 10 minutes. And I wanted to say hello to him. He hadn't said hello. So I go up to him and, "Hello, Mr. Tracy, I'm William Shatner. How are you?" I go, "Wow, that was some speech. I didn't know that screen actors did that." And he went back into his dressing room and never talked to me after that. Oh, my God. And he died before I could say, "Spence, I love you." Robert Wise, I'd followed his career, and I knew that he had edited Citizen Kane, and he was a legendary editor in his time, and a renowned director. So I I sat on the set, not at his feet, but by his shoulder. I felt unequal to him. And I just sat back there and I watched him. And I learned the most important thing as an actor and a director. And that was, Robert Wise never left the set. He stayed in it from 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning to whenever he quit at night, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, even for lunch. He never left. He stayed with it. He watched where the tracks were being laid. He watched the lighting. He watched what people were doing. He watched everything. He stayed in the flow. And it's so easy because there's so much time between shots on a major motion picture. It could be hours, sometimes days between a shot. And you've done something, how are you? And then they take a day to come around to say, I'm doing well. You know, you forget the question. How did I say, how are you? You know, did I say, how are you? You know, it's, I'm doing well. I mean, how do you do it? So you have to play it back. And then in those days, you didn't have playback. But he stayed in the flow of it. And I learned to do that, both as an actor. I never thought of that. Don't go to your dressing room. I learned also, as a director, that when you send for an actor, these damn celebrities, they don't come when they're called. They're on the phone, I'll be right there, thank you very much. They're stars, you know. And, okay, what's that deal again? And they do 5 minutes. Well, you take 5 minutes, you make a 5-minute delay. Yes, here comes Spence. Spence, we need you, Spence. I'll be right there. I'm making out with Katharine Hepburn. You know, I mean, what is he going to say? 5 minutes, and you get 12 setups in a day. It's 60 minutes out of just waiting for a telephone call. You've lost an hour in that day. 7 days, you've lost a day about. 8 days, you've lost a whole day by not coming when you're called. So, I mean, if you sit on a set long enough, you learn the intricacies of what's going on in a very complex machination of people and technical things. And so from that time on, if I'm responsible for a film, I'm right there the whole time and never leave the flow because things go wrong when you're not there.
You trained for the role of Alexander the Great.
Yes.
Could you talk about that? It was a pilot for ABC, and then
Well,
several years before it actually aired.
Do you remember the Second World War series that was on?
Combat?
Combat. So, Seligman was a legendary producer, of course, what else? But he was, for ABC. Seligman. Wow, what a name. So Selig had started Combat, and it was a huge success, Combat. So the next thing he wanted to do was Alexander the Great, and it was like Combat in drag. I mean, we would have predated all the gay shows. It would have been fantastic. But no, ABC, old stodgy ABC, wouldn't accept all. So it was Combat in drag. And I had to ride horses, and I had to ride bareback, and I had to look like I was athletic. So I started weightlifting. So I lifted weights, and I rode, and I really prepared for this role. And it was great fun. I mean, I had a great time. And I thought, wow, we'll run across, because it was going to be Alexander and his band of hardy Greeks, closely following those Syrians with their bare buns. I mean, what the heck? We did it as a pilot, and it was a 2-hour movie, and I think it went into the theaters as well. And we're well, sure thing. I mean, Seligman, Combat, ABC. We sold it. We're done. We're going. We start. Let's see. Bell, can you be available on April 5th, 17th, and at 3:30 in the afternoon? We're going to start, and I want you, and you got to come here. We're canceled. What? I thought we were sold. No, they penciled us in, and they used the eraser. what happens on that marginal area before you lose consciousness, before you die? What are you thinking? Are you afraid? Are you resigned? Are you conscious? And is the mystery of life and death revealed? Is all the answers to the questions of, all the crazy questions that we ask, the laws of nature, the mystery of human behavior, the animal, where's the soul? All the minute and large questions, is that revealed? Because we're tortured by, what are the answers? What are the answers to the questions of history? What are the answers to the laws of nature? What are the answers? Why is there a galaxy that we've just discovered 13 billion years out there whirring around in chaos? Why hasn't it settled down by now? It's the oldest damn galaxy, and it's still whirring around in chaos. Why? I want to know. So I thought, at the moment of death, Kirk would look up and see death, whatever it is, approaching, and face death the way he had faced all those aliens, which was a mixture of awe and wonderment. And so I added the word, oh yeah, and died. And it never sold. It didn't register. They weren't close enough. They never had the moment. I thought that's a good moment. Whoa, no, there's a good moment. There's a truthful, honest, philosophical moment as an actor. Never saw it. It was like there but not there. And so that's what happened in the death of Kirk.